Listener discretion is advised.
It's time for another Steel Revolution podcast. Please keep in mind that the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individuals, and they do not reflect any official view of the United Steelworkers, USW Local 105, or its officers or sub-board members for officers.
So we're going now?
Yeah, we are going now.
I just, we've been doing this for
23 years. How long has it been?
For 122 shows now.
Oh, yes.
And you know what we need? We really need to try to
Be professional?
professional in the way of getting a good cold opening.
Yeah.
Because I think we had a good thing going, but then we weren't recording, and then it just sometimes seems awkward.
You can't do the music and then you give the point like
yeah.
we need an on-air
Yeah,
sign
like
or something. You've got to have that equipment around your house.
I may have an on-air sign at home. Maybe I
Perfect.
do. Maybe I don't.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Think so.
It'd be cool if you did.
Should I bring it in?
Yeah.
should.
But the only time you turn it on is you got to turn it on. I don't have
Okay,
anything
that's fine.
remotely to
That's
turn it
fine.
on.
That'll be your cue. Okay,
Yeah.
we're ready to go.
Yeah, then you hear the.
We're adding something to your job description.
Yeah.
Well, I need a wage evaluation then.
Okay.
Okay.
You can bring that sign and some towels.
I'm gonna fold towels. Is that what we're gonna do here? What's going on over there?
I don't know. You never know.
We're gonna get this thing going.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What is?
We just did a cold open.
Oh, that's nice. Oh,
Yeah.
is that what you call it?
Yeah, that's. Are you impressed with my radio or
It's
podcast
it's
lingo?
podcast lingo. It's not radio lingo. That would be called bantering, if you will.
Thanks for the clarification.
It's what I do.
So if this was a radio
Here
show,
we go.
it would not be a cold open. It would be called a banter open.
No, there's not really a terminology for it. Just bantering back and forth, if you will.
There's got to be some term.
I didn't go to school for it, so I'm sure there is. If I went to school for it, I'll probably.
I mean, you're our expert.
Well, I wouldn't.
Who else am I supposed to ask?
Well, apparently him. He knows. Oh, Roy.
I listened to one podcast.
Is it this one?
No, is my headphones turned up? Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little soft. So
That's what she said.
let's try to keep it classy.
Too late.
Yeah, somebody took the cold opening way too far.
Got so cold, it got soft.
Yeah. Can't even turn that into like an ice cream reference to try to salvage that. All right. Welcome to Steel Revolution 122.
122.
I'm Roy Hutt.
Sean Geisens.
Lee Schaefer.
And apparently I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
Why isn't this working?
Oh, jeez. Here, let me stall.
Let me Bluetooth. Oh, I'm Bluetoothed in already. That's
Oh.
why it's not working.
Run as fast
That's why it's not working.
as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
You're a monster!
I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me!
I've tried to be fair to you creatures. Now my patience has reached its end. Tell me, or I'll...
No, not the buttons! Not my gumdrop buttons!
All right then, who's hiding them?
Okay, I'll tell you. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin...
We have one.
I can see.
We do, yeah.
we
he's
have
here.
a Muffin Man.
Yeah.
And apparently I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
And the Muffin Man.
Oh, hey, Mike. He's got a new name.
The Muffin Man, huh?
Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Well, she...
Yeah.
That was good.
That was good.
I
Yeah.
don't think I'm done. Let's
Oh,
see what
okay.
else is.
Mary married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man! She's married to the Muffin Man. My lord!
Now that last one is truly like Mike because there's a little growling.
And apparently I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
I'm just glad Mike can make it today.
Dude, he's at a rock show.
He's right here.
Oh,
Oh, the picture of him eating
well,
a muffin.
in spirit, and his physical being is at a rock show, concert or something.
What concert is he at?
I don't know, some
It's
growling
like
thing.
yeah.
You said growling or gravel? Because that would make sense because it's a rock show. Gravel. Okay,
That's
sorry.
that's why we got you here.
Thank you.
Not everybody can pull them jokes off.
No, that's...
All right. Well, thanks for
Oh, that's why he's not talking. He's not plugged.
Taking-
I don't have his microphone plugged in.
taking time to listen to us. Mike will be doing a lot of listening today too.
Right.
Sure he will.
He will, especially after we tell him that he had an appearance on the show today.
And there's pictures to prove it.
Yeah.
Oh, there will be. I think we're going to post one after the podcast gets posted. We'll just post it in the comments.
Sounds good.
The picture
Yeah.
of Mike, the Muffin Man.
Do you know the Muffin Man? Sitting right across from you.
Right, yeah.
In spirit.
So on a serious note, safety in the heat. We did have a crane repair general mechanic that was sent out a couple of days ago, I believe. Lee, help me out if I'm wrong.
Yeah. A couple days ago.
With signs of a heat-related illness, was taken to the hospital, was later released. Have not gotten any further update on his condition. I'm going to just assume, knowing what that does. You know what that does? Makes an ass out of you and me.
Yes.
That's what my shop teacher told me.
Never assume.
Yep. So, gonna assume he's out and doing good since he got released from the hospital. But it is a warning to everybody. Make sure you're watching yourself. If you don't feel good, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, getting popsicles, taking breaks if you need them, getting into a cool place. It is especially dangerous for our crane repair crews. Saw a picture that they just took a heat gun up there on top of a crane, and it was like 120 plus up there.
Yeah.
So very dangerous work.
And if you see somebody acting strange
Yeah. Yeah.
or out of character.
Yeah. Take care
Oh yeah, out of character. I was gonna say you're gonna have to clarify that.
My apologies. Out of character.
Yeah, please look out for each other. Good point, Sean.
Thank you.
In other news, we had some Arconic leadership touring the facility last week. Diana Pereira, maybe I said that right.
I think so.
It's a difficult name.
Yeah, I think you said it right.
She was in visiting, taking a tour of the plant, more of an in-depth tour. I don't believe ever since COVID or her getting that role with the company, she's never had that opportunity yet. So her and the new plant manager, Jeff White, have spent a lot of time out on the floor, staying true really to what he's told us, rightly, that he's going to be out on the floor more.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of him being in on weekends and
Yep.
on Sundays. So yeah, he's not shy about walking around.
You walked through the cold mills a couple Sundays ago.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he...
I on a
think-
Sunday morning.
Yeah,
that is,
on Sunday he was in IPS at a dock in 902, and then made his way to the labs. I think he caught somebody by surprise. Over there. So yeah, he is a more hands-on, more driven from the floor type of manager, and he is bringing back some stuff. I think that's important, and it seems like more people are being held accountable, and they're being held accountable, in a good way, Lee, to me, or that I think that they're being held accountable to know the business and know what's happening, not just reporting on their area.
Yeah. The 9 o'clock meetings are vastly different from the way they used to be. It's no longer, hey, just report your numbers. It's you need to explain why the numbers are that way, or what the plan is going forward, how to fix stuff, and also talk with other departments that may be impacted by some of the numbers you're giving. So it's honestly, to me, it's a breath of fresh air. Yeah, we just need to, you see what happens, I guess.
So Diana's tours with Jeff, I believe, have come to an end, and next week there is Arconic leadership in the form of what we've been told is consultants for Apollo, or a consulting group that Apollo uses to come in after they acquire a business. So those guys, and I believe Diana, will be hitting the floor probably along with Jeff next week. And again, like we asked this week, tell them how you value your work-life balance, and if that's not being met now, make sure you tell them. We tell them. There's 5 of us that tell them all the time, but it's more impactful if there's more people telling them, and regular or just the membership as a whole telling them, just instead of the leadership.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I'd say is make sure you're professional while you're doing that. They're not going to take you serious if you go up and just sound unprofessional. So if you're professional, I can honestly say I've never really talked to Jeff Wida until recently much, but he is one to listen. That's for sure. So, and he will take action when he sees that he needs to. So try to be professional, and he will lend you his ear.
Yeah, I got something to tag along with that, but before that, not only talk about your work-life balance, but talk about your safety concerns when they're walking out on the floor. I mean, it is your opportunity. It is an opportunity for you to hear from them, for them to ask you questions, and it's also a chance for you to say, hey, these are my concerns,
Yep.
and they need to be addressed. So, work-life balance, safety, and anything else you can think of, and like Lee said, be professional when you do it. Speaking of Jeff and taking action, the first partnership meeting I was in with him was last Friday. I'd missed the other one because of vacation, and we came to that meeting with a list of concerns. That was the union's kind of top concerns, and a lot of them were based on contractual issues, but not all. And we brought it to him, and he said, well, that's, thanks, can you pull your information together? Can you give me a list? And then can we have a meeting on them and see what we can do to work on them? So we had that meeting on Tuesday before a handful of us from the local went out to the Iowa Federation of Labor convention. And what was on our list was a Safety Star Point agreement. I'll go through and list them and kind of give you a feedback on why they were on the list, and Lee helped me out.
Yep.
So the Safety Star Point agreement was on there. We've had some concerns with what we've heard from some of the EHS leadership, that they had wanted to contract out the cleaning and inspection of our eyewash stations, which is a Safety Star Point job. They wanted to contract out belts and cables, the inspection of those. So, we put that on there and said, hey, we're not contracting out our work. It's our Safety Star Point's work, and we intend to keep it. If there's issues, they need to be addressed, and we'll address them and move forward, but we're not interested in giving them up.
Yeah, and on top of that, just freeing Safety Star Points up to do some of this work has been problematic in some departments where they want them to do them on breaks, things like that. So, we need to give them time to actually do the job, and your break time's your break time.
Yeah, I mean, that is an agreement, and they need to hold true to the spirit and the intent of that agreement, and that was to give people time to go out and do it, not just, well, whenever you can fit it in, or if you happen to have a down hour, go out and do something, and that's not what it was. So we brought up that. We also brought up the company has a job refusal protocol, I would say, or a guideline. It is not an agreement. We would not agree to something that ultimately terminates somebody, so or walks them out the door. So we didn't agree to it. This came out years ago from two previous HR or HRIR leads, two ones of them ago.
Yeah, right, yeah. 2 HR leads ago.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. So, it came out with that, and it was clear expectation, which, does help us know how serious the situation is, and, those guidelines were not followed. If somebody asks you as a manager or coach or whoever, hey, are you refusing to do this job? If you flat out say no, then the next step is there to get a union rep and come to you and talk to you again. And union reps there to kind of help with the issue. One, help the member understand, what the situation is, and also to convey, if the member has an issue, convey their concerns to management. And that part did not happen.
Right.
The department was just ready and walked the person out by the time the stewards were there. So, there was nothing to do, and that wasn't followed. Also, issues with the transfer agreement. We've got, timelines on, when stuff needs to happen and how long you can hold somebody. And, if you make a commitment to, a department that the transfer is going to, and the union that somebody's going to transfer on this date, it is not just your decision as a manager to go individually bargain with somebody and see if they can stay longer. There's repercussions for the department that person's going to. That could mean, well, you don't reduce forced overtime as soon, so those need to be followed.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as you go through these, the frustrating part with us down here is that a lot of this is clear language. And you just get some of these new managers or HR reps just interpreting it a different way. But
yeah, it's our thing down here. If it was done previous to me and none of the people that signed the agreement, well, it's no longer valid, which seems to be their scenario. Or I don't interpret it that way.
Yep.
But it's like, well, it's not your choice to interpret it that way. You have to interpret it the way it was meant and
Sure.
the way that it's been done for the years and years and years prior to your employment here.
Yeah.
It's been done.
Yep. And when it comes to agreements too, I mean, just so people know, when we negotiate agreements, there's intent that goes along with that. So, bad thing is some of these people weren't even here when things were negotiated, so they don't know the intent of the agreement. So that's causing problems as well.
The last little bit is contract issues, and mainly it's issues that were brought up during the last negotiation. So brought up the access to attendance records, balance reports, hours for FMLA, and vacation qualifications. That's just, I mean, that's an easy one to explain. They agreed to it. It's been well over a year. They told us first that, hey, it's going to cost quite a bit of money. We need to push it into the beginning of 2023. We said, okay, we understand that. Well, now it's getting close to 9 months into 2023, and this should have been done in January.
Yep.
All the upfront work should have been done, and all it should have been was, hey, here's the check, make it happen to whomever needed to help them do that, and it didn't happen.
Yep.
The swap agreement, I mean, adding language that purely just does not exist in the agreement.
Yep.
And there were various swap agreements, and some places didn't have them. So we wanted to, at least the departments that didn't have one, to have it. Some departments had different ones, but maybe the self swap was a kicker. Some departments changed what they had for an agreement, and to add ETOs, that is as a factor, that if you have somebody off on an ETO, you can't have somebody off on a self swap, is just it doesn't make sense, because there's nowhere in that language does it mention that an ETO would block somebody's self trade.
Yeah.
A lot of things with the last contract, what we wanted to do was help work-life balance. And So, the current agreement is pretty much modeled after agreements that were already in IPS Sheet and Rowan. And we wanted everybody up to that level. So when we did that, we wanted how it was being applied in those three departments to be applied throughout the plant, with everybody having, for the vast majority of the departments having this agreement. And it wasn't to agree and then lower the standard
Right.
or the way it's been implemented. It was to raise people up,
Yep.
or raise all departments up. And what happened recently was we're going to figure out how to worsen this agreement.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to add language and do something there's not mentioned anywhere in it.
Yeah.
So I think even after the meeting, I think we have some headway on that one. So we will see. We're still looking at, hopefully I'm hoping circling back around this week
Yeah.
and seeing what's been worked on.
Hopefully.
Another one, working floating holidays. We have an agreement on that. And all hours you work in the day that you decide to work your floating holiday is holiday pay. It's no different than working New Year's Day. And if you're on a 12, you're working 12. And if you're on an 8-hour schedule, maybe you work a 16.
Yeah.
But if you work 16 hours on a holiday, you get paid for all of them 16 hours at holiday pay.
Yep.
Now we want to interpret it as, well, it's only your scheduled shift. Well, that's not right. That's never been that way, never been applied that way, and now they want to change it. I mean, it's just it's either people know better and they're trying to get away with it because they know there's a lot of people that are not familiar with it or have years of experience with the policy, or it's, well, we're just going to interpret it that way because we're new and we don't know any better.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you're new and you don't know any better, you would think the easiest way is just have a conversation and talk it out and see how things were done in the past and go that route. Instead, we've just enforcing whatever, and then we'll argue about it later, and unfortunately, that's where we're at.
Yep, and we're that way with a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Next one was we had one area of the plant or groups of workers in the crafts that had extra requirements on what they could apply. I'm a little fuzzy on what exactly this, a retro tool. Is it just something that's after the overtimes ran? Is it the day of? Is it after? What is it? I don't know. But what I do know is we had the maintenance department that had different standards than the production areas, and we wanted maintenance raised up to the level of the production, and it was simply, if you requested something, usually, that you needed some time off, if the production area could allow it, they would allow it.
Yep.
And there wasn't extra standards. Well, there were extra standards in the crafts department, and we brought it up over and over again at contract time, and then they were supposed to come back, and have an agreement. And what the agreement was is, let's lower everybody to the craft standards, and that's not the intent. Again, everything was intended to lift people up, give them better work-life balance, and companies having a hard time keeping that word or spirit of what we discussed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take us too far into the drain, but it's just, you hear stuff like this, we see more and more people quitting, and because of the schedules, because of these things are directly impacting them. And it's just a different workforce out there, and the company's going to need to adapt, and that's kind of what, we went to the bargaining table with that in mind, to, get people more time off to spend time with their families outside of work.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And here's the other part. They do not have any cushion. They are at the bare minimum.
Yep.
So when somebody's out, and you can bet that on a daily basis, you're going to have one person gone, on a day at a time vacation. You're going to have one person gone on a full week vacation. And you're probably going to have somebody on short-term disability.
Yep.
You know, your bodies break down from this job and you got to
sure.
get them repaired, and well, you know, or something happens to you outside of there, you know, and somebody's going to be gone, you know, so there's at least 3 people gone. And what are we going to do? We're going to force those 3 people.
Yep.
We're going to force to fill them if we don't have volunteers, and they have no extra crewing, or they do not factor that into their head count, and that's what's hurting.
Yep.
You know, people do not want to work the overtime anymore.
Yep.
They just don't. They value their time off and their time with their family. The days of RVs out in the parking lot and people living out there are over. I mean, you got a good amount of people that want to work a lot of overtime, but it's dwindling.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Sure.
You know, and to go along with that, you know, in the contract, no forcing above crewing levels. You know, that was there again to help eliminate or reduce forced overtime. You know, you're not just going to run short and force people to death. You know, they're not going to take it.
Yeah.
And proof of not taking it is, like Lee said, you got people leaving, and you got people leaving that are throwing away, you know, their pensions, maybe more money that they get here, maybe better benefits here, and they're leaving, and it's not worth it to them. You know, they're also just saying, well, fine, I'm not coming in.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of people on 3 and 30-day attendance disciplines or levels, and more than I ever remember since I've been a bargaining rep or a committeeman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Information at discipline hearings. We'd said, hey, you if you're going to write somebody up, you better do your due diligence, and then you better provide all the information to us that on how you came to this conclusion, or how you think this discipline is just, and you better bring it to the discipline.
Yeah, and that's just, I mean, I know I can speak for Inga. That's been a problem for a very long time. You bring it up, and they still don't have all that information. Very discouraging. We brought it up at 3rd levels, I don't know how many times too. So, yeah, it's just something. Eventually, you're like, are they doing it on purpose? You know, you have to think that. I mean, what other way is there to think when you tell them time and time and time again, and they still don't do it?
Right. And lastly, at contract time, and even in our local issues, the company said they are committed to teams. If you're committed to teams, the very first thing I think you need to do is you need to fill these lead operator openings that are open. Fill the openings that are open, Sean.
Not redundant, but I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not redundant. Do you think it is?
No, it just kind of sounded.
No. You sounded good.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
Well, if Sean gets it, you're good.
Yeah.
Well, no.
That's a
Don't
good
use me for like
standard.
a benchmark or anything like that.
That's a standard.
Please don't do that.
Sean's the standard.
Yeah.
Sub
The new
standard.
The new standard in podcasts. The Geisen standard.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, is that above the gold standard? Asking for a friend.
Well, it's wherever you want it.
Asking for it.
It's your standard, Sean.
Yeah.
Or should we say it's the benchmark of what all people should standardize their standards to?
No, that's redundant.
Anyway, they said they were committed to teams, and you know, one, like we said, start by making sure all your lead oppositions are filled.
Yeah.
You know, and start spending time. It's not an easy thing to make sure your teams are successful, but you have to put people in place and your safety start points in place, and you got to audit it, and you got to do what you got to do to make it successful. And when we came back, that wasn't the case. Not what I heard. You know.
Right.
You know, we're not going to let you just walk away from something when you said you were committed to a contract. Events calendar, Sean. We've made our way to the events calendar.
Oh, I can't wait.
I want to make sure you knew where we were at.
Yeah. Oh, what's going on?
Well, Sean, glad you asked. There is a possible, I will say possible strike at 105-3. That is our newest amalgamated unit, White Cap out in Eldridge. So those members voted unanimously. Is that right? I always get the unanimous and
Yeah, I
whatever.
think-
So all of them.
Wasn't an English.
Let's just say all of them.
I wasn't an English major, so
No, I definitely wasn't. All of them voted in favor of authorizing a strike. So, as of right now, there is time. Those members may, and I would again stress may, go out on strike at 5 a.m. on Monday. So, there is some time here, this being Saturday and Sunday, for there to be some headway or some movement made by the company. If not, it looks like they will be going out on strike again at 5 a.m. on Monday. We will be posting something on Facebook to let you guys know if that happens, and then we'll let you guys know what you can do. Primarily, show up, walk the line, talk with those guys. It is a smaller unit of, I believe, 9 employees.
yeah, I think 9 or 10.
But they're a hardworking group. They do a lot of work on what I'm gonna say, industrial rebar, so not your standard rebar,
yeah.
right? Did you hear anything about that? You got the sizes or anything?
The sizes?
Yeah,
Oh, what sizes of rebar?
yeah.
They're
Do you
big.
know?
I don't
Okay.
know. Sorry, I don't work there.
Yeah, they are bigger than probably what you think about when you think of rebar.
Okay.
It's like industrial rebar.
Okay.
It's
I didn't know it was
bigger.
gonna be a pop quiz.
It's
so
bigger,
I would
it's
have studied
heavier.
up.
You got to be ready. You never know.
Oh, jeez, I mean,
You came out of left field
You,
with
ju-
that
you,
question.
you
Right,
just
I was like-
you just think you show up and
well,
everything's done for you?
give me a question of Arconic at least.
No.
Why would he do that?
So anyway, get ready to support those members, our fellow 105
Yeah.
members that might be out. Again, we will, the soonest you will know if there is something going on, we'll be on Facebook, and we'll see if we can get a list of things that are needed for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next business meetings are October 19th. The next board and committee person meeting will be September 14th. Third level grievances are scheduled for October 18th or 19th. So if you've had a second level hearing and your second level grievance did not go to the last third level, most likely it'll be on the docket for the 18th and the 19th of October. Arbitration is set for the 30th of this month. The union will be arbitrating one discharge case on the 30th. A reminder to have your attendance records ran after your absences. So if you are off on, say, union business, FMLA, short-term disability, you leave early and put in an SPL, whatever it is, run your attendance. And we had another one, didn't we? We had another issue where we were telling people to run your attendance after something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I mean,
It was recent.
train issues maybe.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You,
See,
you totally redeemed yourself.
Look at you.
man,
I was worried. I was about to say, what do you bring to this?
not rebar measurements. I'll tell you that.
And then we are also still, our board charges are working their way through the system. We'll probably have an update, I would guess, within the next couple weeks on those. Golf tournament was another great event. I think everybody had fun.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Congratulations to the winners. Lee, did you win anything?
No, but my ingot plant guys won.
No, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good for you.
they can't depend on me, that's for sure. In golfing, anyway.
The team I was on did make it into some money. Not due to my help, but they did. They used a handful of my shots with fingers left over. I'll tell you that.
So you're subpar?
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
He wasn't subpar.
No, he above par. Excuse me.
there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
If he was subpar,
Then he would be good.
yeah,
Boy, that's a deep thought.
it is.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's not the place for deep thoughts. That's for sure.
We've had some rapid response papers going around. Lee, you want to talk about that?
Yep, got 3 of them here. So the first one is just kind of an alert to make sure people's aware. United Steelworkers are going to be filing a trade case, Section 301 case against China. A lot of China's imports and how they do things, the illegal trade practices have decimated the shipbuilding industry. So if you look at it now, our capacity has been diminished. China, in a year's time, China builds over 1,000 commercial oceanic vessels. Right now, the U.S. is building fewer than 10. Yes, 10. I mean, that just boggles my mind that it's to that point. So
it's not ship shape. I can't believe you let me get that in. Can't believe it,
Boy.
Sean.
Did not approve.
No.
Sean did not approve of that.
Not good. Oh, no.
All right, this is a really long cricket sound. Okay.
Well, that's a really bad joke or a bad pun.
Okay.
Hang on.
But yes,
Still going.
just so everyone's aware, it does cost a lot of money, and we're lucky to be in a union that does file these trade cases. And I believe Jeff had said something. It costs about $1 million or so to file a trade case. So it's not something that's taken lightly, and it actually is a lot of work that goes into it. So again, it's something we need to keep doing these things to make sure that our jobs are secure, and we've lost tens of thousands of jobs because of this. So more to come on that. The next 2 things, again, kind of has to do with trade. The first one's with China again. Their unfair trade practices have led to millions of lost jobs. So back in, I want to say 2018, Trump actually signed for the tariffs, signed into law of tariffs. Now China's going around them tariffs by sending things through other countries. So there's a bill on the table. It's called Level the Playing Field Act 2.0, which would give more enforcement of how China's going through these other countries. The last one is we want to close the de minimis loophole. It allows companies like Shein, Temu, and Amazon to dodge U.S. trade enforcement. Right now, things that cost less than $800 can get into the U.S. Duty-free, avoiding customs and things like that. So we want to try to close that loophole because if it's less than $800, these countries that use, child labor and things like that are able to get into the country. So we do have some sheets at the hall if you want to come down and kind of sign for your support. I think all of us did. We signed up for this, and it contacts your senators, and actually got a response from Ernst that was pretty decent. Grassley, not so much. He pretty much said he doesn't want to get into a trade war with China. So I guess he's okay with just letting China just screw us out of our jobs. I don't know. So anyway, more to come on that.
Yeah, and you might be thinking, oh well, I get some cheap stuff from Temu and Amazon, and I don't want to pay anymore. But the flip side of that is it also it doesn't go through customs. It doesn't go through any sort of inspection.
Yeah.
I believe Jeff had said this at our business meeting that, okay, well, remember way back, a few years ago when there was a bunch of toys that had lead paint in them.
Right, yeah.
Or they used lead paint for these toys, and they got in, and then, children were, exposed to lead paint, and a lot of that, could be solved if there's inspection and if it goes through customs.
Yeah. Yep.
Next, moving on, wanted to bring up the topic of FMLA and something that the payroll and HR department's cracking down on FMLA, or what they deem to be FMLA abuse. And what they're doing is they are tracking your estimated frequency. And you can see this when you get your attendance report ran. You can see off to the far right hand column there'll be the word overuse in there. You may not get a hit, but it will say overuse, and that just means they're tracking it. So in one case that I've seen, let's just say the individual's estimated frequency was 4 days every month, lasting 1 day. So this individual had a 5, a 6, and a 7 days that they used within a month. The company then asked them to research. They gave the doctor a list of all the absences, and the doctor said, yes, that matches my diagnosis. These all should be covered. So all of them absences were covered, even the ones that were a 5 and a 6 and a 7 per month. But in the frequency, the doctor still put the estimated frequency was 4. So once the company got that back, anything over 4 was a hit. And they did not inform the employee that they were applying FMLA or not to those days. They just gave hits, and the employee didn't notice it until they got disciplined. Now, we've told them that is wrong and that's against the law. You at least have to inform the individual on if you're applying FMLA to that day or not. Now, we did speak to the Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division that enforces FMLA law, and they said the company can give out hits in a no-fault attendance policy for that, but the individual has the ability to go to their doctor and have a doctor write a note saying that, hey, these absences match my diagnosis and they need to be covered. And at that time, they should be covered. So anyway, we're working on the notification piece. And then again, like we tell you, have your attendance ran after you use your FMLA. Yeah. So it's covered, and you make sure that they're excusing your day for that, or your time for that. So more to come on that, but be watching for that. And like I said, usually it comes after a recert request.
Yep.
A reminder, Dan, our office manager's hours are 6:30 to 2:30 Monday through Friday. He is your go-to resource for retirement questions and issues. To go along with that, the 401k was blacked out. So if you had company stock with the company going private, they had a blackout. They paid you your $30 per share, and then they took that money and invested it into an age-based, you get the right name here, an age-based BlackRock Life Fund. So that money was placed in there. After the blackout period, you can take that money out and put it into whatever funds or stocks or whatever you want. But just for them, when they went public, that's what happened. I've not heard that the blackout period is over. So I don't know. More to come from that.
Yep.
We'll request some information and see if we can get that from the company.
Yep.
Pay and paycheck issues. If you saw the Facebook page and in the forerunner, the articles on recent payroll issues, Elida saying because of FSLA rules, they had to do something, and when they did it, there was a bunch of deposits and deductions that showed up on your check. They should all equal 0 total, and it shouldn't really affect. So it was just like something that should have been done in the background but wasn't, and it showed up on your check. If you have an issue though with that, and they did not add up to 0 for all the pluses and minuses for the COLA, let us know. We'll take a look and work on it. Another reminder, make sure you check your check and make sure you know what your pay grade is. And make sure you know what the hourly rate of pay is for your pay grade. We've had a couple recent members that said, hey, I don't think this pay grade's right. And we looked into it, and it wasn't. One was a new hire, and I think another one had been here for a while. And it doesn't make sense. And I don't know if there's any tie-in to what Alight did recently that made that happen. I don't know, but again, ask your committeeman, ask your union rep what your pay grade is and what the amount of your hourly rate of pay is, and then check that on your check.
Yeah, if you can figure anything out on Alight, you let me know.
Well, if you can figure out anything on your check,
Right.
you have to be somebody that looks at them a lot and knows what each thing is to even figure out why you're getting paid what you're getting paid. Another one that Office Manager Dan had found when a member called the hall is that they had recently moved from Iowa to Illinois, or vice versa, and a little yawn there.
You tired? Yeah, jeez. Guys tuckered out.
Okay. It's time for an energy drink.
Hold on. Oh, I thought Mike had a question. No.
No.
That's just him raising his muffin.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
How's that muffin, Mike?
It's really good, Sean.
I'm the muffin man.
It's halfway gone already. He's focused on that.
Yeah, he is.
Look at him. He's determined.
He hasn't even said a word.
Sorry.
I had to find my place. So, if you move from one state to the other, make sure you take a look at your check. Make sure the right state income tax is being taken out. The Women of Steel are raffling off a liquor basket. Let's see. The drawing will be September 12th. Tickets are one ticket for $2 or 3 for $5. And the liquor included is Malibu rum, Truly peach vodka. Yeah. 2 bottles of wine. I think there's a typo in here. Gloria strawberry margarita, Smirnoff raspberry vodka, UV cake vodka, exotic tequila.
Ooh, that sounds exotic.
Yeah. Tito's, and then a Maker's Mark 3-bottle private selection. So proceeds go to KSI and Family Resources. Again, get your tickets before September 12th, and you can get them at the hall or from a member of the Women of Steel. Next, our SOAR group, which is our retiree group. They meet every Thursday, every first Thursday. Oh, man, it's almost like Thirsty Thursday.
It's gonna be all right, buddy.
Right.
Our SOAR group meets the first Thursday of each month at 1:30. At their meeting on September 7th, a representative from SHIP, which is the Senior Health Insurance Information Program, will be coming to speak about Medicare and Social Security. His name is Jerry. He'll be there. I know that a lot of the retirees get a lot of good information from him. What's so funny?
Oh, I just thought of a bad pun, but I'm just gonna keep it to myself.
Why? Let's see if you can. You're gonna outdo me.
Yeah.
All I know is he almost busted out laughing. It must
Well,
be really funny.
With all due respect, right? Geriatric? Is that his name?
Well, and see, and
It's not funny, Sean.
and his name is Ship, and we just had a story about Ship.
Yeah.
Building.
Yeah.
Building ships.
Yeah. You're gonna get your.
It all ties together.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, like a sailor's knot.
Really?
What? Anyway, September 7th, come down and see Jerry and get your Medicare and Social Security ship shape.
I just can't believe that's what made you laugh like that. I mean, he was...
Sorry, yeah.
Really? Really?
Thank you. I thought it was funny. Okay, sorry about that. Let's continue, please.
All right. Let's get on a serious note. We did have a couple of active members. Yeah, active members, not retired. They were still working at the plant, pass away. So one was Dee Neff. She certainly will be missed by all of her friends and family. She did a lot of stuff in the community and out at the plant. You know, Trunk or Treat, United Way, reading to kids, Hoblo, whatever. Like I said, she's always in a good mood, had a smile on her face that was always nice to be around. So she will be missed.
And the other one is Joe Garnica, out of the ingot plant. A lot of people knew Joe, just a great guy. Joe actually started out in plate mill, and then after layoff, I think he was laid off for just a short amount of time, came to ingot. And if you know, some in sheep may know Joe's dad, who's retired, Jim. People call him Bingo Garnica. So, yeah, Joe will be definitely missed. This one affects me personally. I've known Joe for damn near all our lives, so yeah, it's not good. Not good.
No, I didn't realize that. I worked with Bingo.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's his dad.
All right, well, we're going to do a moment of silence, and then when you come back, we will wrap up the show by Lee and I doing our best to report out from the Iowa Federation of Labor conference. All right, back after the moment of silence. A handful of us went out and represented the local at the Iowa Federation of Labor Convention. Here, let's see, it was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Try to do my best at the highlights. One, we'll start with the lowlights. So they wanted to stress like all of the losses that workers had, or the attack on workers in Iowa. You know, and this goes back quite a bit of time. You know, there was the union busting. Let's see, it said 2017 that removed nearly all mandatory subjects of bargaining for public sector workers. So that was the gutting of Chapter 20. Next, again in 2017, was workers' comp or worker injury protections. The bill drastically lowered the amount received for shoulders and other injuries. So if you injured your shoulder, you're getting probably 1/4 of what you would have got.
Yeah.
Which we always tell people is very important, because your shoulder could mean the difference between whether you work your current job or not. There was another road fund swap plan, and believe this was this again was a while ago, back in 2017, and I believe we had Ken Sager on for that when he was the president of the Iowa Federation of Labor, and how he described it was the magical state laundromat, or way to launder money. You put money in, that's federal money, and you put it in, and then it comes out state money, and then you may not have to be subject to the provisions from the federal clauses to use that money. Next, several bills from 2017 through 2023, unemployment cuts. So cuts of benefits from 26 weeks to 16, cuts in the number of weeks you can collect if your employer goes out of business, broadly defines misconduct to make it easier to deny benefits.
I believe you have to accept less money too.
Yeah.
Am I
think
understanding that
you're
right? Yeah.
And before you didn't have to.
Right.
Most recent is the child labor protections rollback. 2023, what is considered the worst child labor rollback law in the country was signed into law. And how they explained it out there was there's a lot of states that did pieces of this law. Nobody did like all of the worst stuff from every state and like compile it into one and try to get everything passed in one huge pile of crap like Iowa did.
Yeah.
So that's why they say it was worse. Now, that's something that's bad, but also something that, to me, was a positive, because it could have been bad. It could have been worse, I guess is what I should say, and it wasn't worse because people stood up. People told their legislators that this wasn't good. They didn't want it. It wasn't right. I know we had a big group out there in Des Moines talking to our representatives, and they did take some stuff out and they changed some stuff. If you're under 21 and you're serving alcohol, they're supposed to give you some training on harassment, and then they're supposed to do something, if you get harassed because you're underage and you're working at a bar, but it's legal or whatever, so some of the hazardous jobs were taken out for the younger employees, child employees. So the
biggest piece probably too is the work comp piece of it. Originally they didn't want this to be covered under work comp. So if a child was working, got hurt severely or even a little bit, work comp would not be covered. If they were killed on the job, the company wouldn't have any obligation or anything towards any of that injury. And that's, look, people hear rapid response and you think, Republican, Democrat, and throw all that out the door. The current lawmakers that are in the state of Iowa right now are making things worse for you as a worker. The work comp law, they wanted our children to go to work. That was their first proposal out of the gate, so if we didn't have, a lot of us up there fighting, who knows what would have happened. We could have had that into law. That is just crazy. So really, whatever party you vote for or whatever, we need to start looking at who are these legislators in your area, and what are they standing for? How did they vote? These types of things shouldn't happen. It's crazy. They don't run on these issues, that's for sure. They never get voted in. Unfortunately, these things become law before we know it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I was drawing a blank on that one, which was the most egregious part of that bill. The other thing, again, not many good wins for workers, but the NLRB and the people that are in there now, is good. They are rolling back some worker restrictive laws and laws regarding organizing a union and stuff, and they're rolling them back to the previous administration or a couple of administrations ago, back to where they were, and they were better for workers. So that is good, and along with the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor has a former union leader in the building trades from Boston, and he's heading that, so that is good for workers. And the head of the NLRB was a labor attorney for a union. Not a labor attorney for the company, which is what you did see a lot of people getting put into those positions were. We did have 2 resolutions. One was just the resolution to induct 3 people into the Iowa Federation of Labor Hall of Fame, and the other one was for fleet vehicles And really, fleet vehicles and anything that had to be done with taxpayer money, that those vehicles would be made in America. And then also they added some other language so that all anything that the government was using your tax dollars to buy stuff was made in America, or had a made in America provision.
Sounds like common sense, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think you'd have to have that in there.
But you do. I mean,
Lastly, on our last day out there, we ended up going out and walking the picket line with UAW Local 997 members. They are on strike against Thrombert in Newton. That company is the world's largest manufacturer of polyurethane. Is that right?
Polyurethane?
Polyurethane, thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Wheels and tires for narrow aisle forklifts. So, like the guy we were talking to on the picket line said, you know, your forklifts, your pallet jacks, your I think your ride along pallet jacks and stuff like that. All wheels from them. They've got huge contracts for any of the shipping places, Amazon, whatever. So business is good for them. They can afford to take care of their workers, but they are not choosing to do that and recognize their work in at the contract. So they've been out on strike since August 1st. Some of the issues, work-life balance, sound familiar.
Yeah.
Everybody's going through that. Workers have been forced to work 6 days a week, every other weekend for years. Again, you know, like we said, people's fed up with those type of schedules and working all the time. They also want to do some cuts in their accident and sickness benefits. And then also, I believe it's pay more for their health care. So, yeah, went out on their picket line, talked to them. Looks like they're getting plenty of support from the community. This article that I pulled, they were even, while they're out on strike, helping the community. They went and helped pick up around some people's houses and mow for them. So they're giving back even while they're out. So best of luck to them. I know Friday they were at the table.
yeah.
Doesn't sound like, since I got called back to the table, that it was very good, but
Right.
we'll see. So
They do have a mediator involved, I know, so, or the guy mentioned, so. The morale does seem pretty good on the picket line, I will say that.
Yep.
They seem like they're standing strong together, so. Yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah, so we'll be watching them, and of course our own guys with a potential strike here on Monday. Like I said, we will keep you informed. So I think that does it.
I think so, huh?
My lord! We found it. And what are you waiting?
Trying to cue this up, and it was already playing.
Amateurs.
Some guys are just not tech savvy, Sean.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
What would you call this?
What do you call that in the radio business?
A hot mess.
Well, is that the technical term?
No, that's Sean's term.
What would be the technical term?
No, I don't know.
That's
Not being prepared.
that's the Geisen standard. I'm not living up to it.
Right.
You know, if there's a Geisen standard, there's some issues going on.
What do you think, Mike?
And apparently I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
And
Tell me, or I'll...
No, not the buttons! Not my gumdrop buttons!
All right, then. Who's hiding them?
Okay, I'll tell you. Do you know the Muffin Man?
I know Mike Nicholas.
And apparently I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Well, She's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
She's married?
Hey, I bet Mike's wife didn't know she married the Muffin Man.
Oh, I bet not. She might now.
Yeah.
I'm taking the high road on this whole conversation.
You're the one pushing
Yeah,
buttons over
yeah,
there.
you
Yeah, I
had
know.
nothing to do with it, did you?
And apparently I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
The Muffin Man.
So we'll,
It's so nice to see someone
Well.
else get all this.
He's going to be so mad.
Yeah.
hey, we're just trying to make them apart, you know?
Yeah.
He had a rock show to go to.
Yeah.
What kind of rocks?
Rock show or concert or
Oh,
something.
concert. Okay.
Growling or something.
The Rock of Ages or something. Is that a play?
It could be.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, his taste of music is a little out there. So I think you got to wear makeup, don't you, and costumes and what have you?
Yeah, and you got to growl.
Arr. Well, that's a
Is that a
pirate.
pirate?
Sorry.
That's Steve the Pirate.
Gar.
Steve the Pirate.
Yeah.
Dodgeball.
I know. Remember, he goes, Steve the Pirate. Because, you
Oh,
know,
Okay.
thank you, I redeemed myself.
Yeah,
right?
you did, because I was
I was
worried.
gonna say, if
Oh,
you
that's a
didn't
good
see
movie.
that
Yeah, I was worried.
You
it
ever
was
notice
another
that
movie?
You ever notice that part when they're
Yeah.
doing their quiz or their
Yeah.
schoolwork? That when they look at the pirate, he's got an eye patch over his eye patch.
Because he got hit with the wrench.
He's got hit with a wrench. That's ingenious. That movie. He can dodge a wrench. He can dodge a ball. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, sorry for the pirate. I was trying to be the Growler. That's his new nickname, the Growler.
The Growler.
Pirate, Growler, Muffin Man.
Boy, he
whatever.
goes by a lot of different names.
Yeah.
Poor Mike.
Hey, Sean,
Yes,
where can people find us?
on Drury Lane.
You know, I always ask this, and I either, I do listen to I only listen to one podcast right now, and they do it too, but it's like, if you're already listening to it, you know where to find it.
You're exactly right, because they have already found us.
Yeah.
So this is redundant. But if they want another platform to listen to,
Yeah. Or maybe somebody else is asking, where
Yeah,
else
and
can
they
I-
don't have
can I, they
whatever,
don't have
yeah.
it. Right?
yeah, or they're like at a big party and they're listening to us.
Yeah.
Not everyone come down here to the bathroom.
No.
That's right.
Is there any pint glasses left?
Yeah, there's some. Well, Lee just stepped all over you and gave the last one away on
Yeah,
where
well.
you can listen.
That's all right. That's all right.
Doesn't he know this is your
This is my thing.
thing?
Well,
Sean.
it's I accept that apology. They can find us on our Facebook page at Steel Revolution Podcast, USW logo 105, Apple Podcast on their different devices. They can find us on their podcast app from your iPad to your iPhone. Or the Podcast Addict for Android devices, the Android app, Google Play Music, the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, YouTube, Odyssey app, Libsyn.com, and the locals website. I'm not going to do the men's restroom since he already
Yeah.
mentioned it, but I just did. So, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's at the men's restroom here at Local 105.
go.
Yeah.
Don't want to have you at some random bar listening to,
Yeah.
trying to listen to us. I mean, if you want to, that's your thing, man.
Yeah.
Not going to judge.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, that's what I do, kind of, sort of. But you're welcome, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. And don't forget to say something good about your union.
Every day.
Until next time, when I believe we should open up the show, or at least close it with the recipe corner, and we should do a muffin.
Oh,
We should.
What?
Yeah, that's a
Now
good
you just
idea.
gave it away. Now he's going to be expecting it.
He won't show up.
Oh, well, got a
You're
point.
giving him a lot of credit.
Well, sorry. He's the muffin man.
It's an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens next time. Maybe it doesn't.
That's true. Well, we have a lot of baked goods going on around here. Anywhere from muffins to donuts and...
Yeah.
Easy. Now we're doing good.
Sorry about that, buddy.
Oh, dude, I sent him a cool picture, and it was...
Who
an
did you send it
ice-
to?
Lee. It
Okay.
was an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
So it was like a patty of ice cream
Yeah, ice cream.
with a... So then you take a glazed donut and you cut it in half and you put the glazed donut, and that's an ice cream sandwich.
Oh man, my
Doesn't
heart
that sound
just
good?
yeah, my heart just skipped a beat.
Does sound good.
Have
That's
you had
worth,
one?
that's worth a cheat day, right, Lee?
You like donuts,
This is
don't you,
the
Lee?
muffin
He's
man
in a
day.
coma.
This
He
is the
wa- did
Muffin
you
Man
see him?
day.
Did you see him?
He dazed out for about
Yeah.
a second or two. You all right over there, buddy? You daydreaming?
I don't know where he went.
His bottom lip is dripping. You-
Easy. How did this shift the last few minutes from the Muffin Man to me?
baked goods.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a good baked good?
That's a it was seamless. It just went from one to the other.
Right, yeah.
What do you call that in the radio business?
A good segue.
There, see?
See?
Good segue.
Now all of a sudden we got the technical term. Huh? Yeah.
Well, on
Couldn't
that.
get one all show long, but now we got
Well, yeah, I would rather talk about this than, hey, Cape Girardeau. Da, 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 da.
You know, that wasn't going to be mentioned
I
once
forgot all about it.
in this whole podcast.
Yeah.
until
Here I am
you
bringing
mentioned
it up.
And
Yeah,
you
it's-
mentioned it.
Damn it, Sean. I know better than that.
See, he likes it.
No, yeah, I kind of do.
he likes
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, kind of.
Well, then.
Right? Isn't that the statue?
No,
Yeah.
no, there's no statue of me anywhere.
It resembles the statue of Harry Carey.
Yeah.
Up in
outside-
Chicago with the
outside
microphone
Wrigley
pointing.
Field,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But instead it's Sean.
There should be one of Lee with a like a dish towel, like a chamois,
And a
From-
donut.
and a donut in one hand. There you go. What could be one for you?
It could move.
Oh, like a-
like it takes a bite and then it chamois.
Like it should be over at that pizza place there on Kimberly
Yeah.
with those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No names. We don't got any sponsorships.
No, we don't.
We're not getting any money.
No one's sponsoring this show.
Yeah.
Why would they? Wait, before we leave, what would be his statue for Roy?
I'll have to think. I'll come back.
Give it some thought.
Tune in next time.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, tune in next time.
All right. Well, and while you're waiting, in between, make sure you stay safe.
Yeah.
Out there
Hydrated.
in the
Yeah.
in the heat. Yeah, and like Sean said, watch out for each other.
Yep.
Please.
Absolutely.
Mike, got anything more to say?
And apparently I'm the princess, Mike Nicholas.
And the Muffin Man.
And the growler.
Growler. Anything else?
No, this is going to be one where somebody goes, man, why you guys give that Mike such a hard time? See, I had people tell me about Lee.
I know.
Man,
It's
you,
ridiculous. It's a
wow, you
travesty.
guys just, man, you get after that Lee.
I know. It's
You know what's funny is somebody will come up to me and go, next time you see Lee, tell him I got a donut for him. Or they'll bring up the donut issue.
Tell him I got a donut for him.
or donut reference. I'm thinking, oh, you do listen to the podcast. Thanks.
yeah. I guess that's. I'll take that.
You should get a tattoo of a donut.
All right, it's time to wrap this.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Well, I'll get one.
No.
Oh, yeah. Matching donut tattoos.
Yeah.
Nothing says cool more than that.
Well, Mike can put it right next to all of his
Mario.
yeah, his Mario and what's it, Princess Peach.
He's gonna need a Muffin Man one now.
I think on that note, we need to stop the show.
All right.
All right, like
See
we
ya.
said, stay safe until we meet
Talk
again.
again.
All right.
All right, see ya.
Later.
Steel Revolution is a podcast by USW Local 105, Bettendorf, Iowa.